There comes a moment in every life, a breaking point, when someone's words pierce too deep, when disrespect cuts through like a blade, when anger burns hot in your chest, and you feel that unstoppable urge to lash out, to prove something, to fight back. But what if I told you that the strongest person in the room is not the loudest one? Not the one who wins the argument, not the one who yells the most, but the one who remains still, the one who doesn't react, the one who looks chaos in the face and says calmly, "You don't control me." Think about it. Every time you get angry, someone else wins. They gain power over your peace. They steal your energy, your focus, your presence. But imagine a version of you that never breaks, never gets provoked, never lets anyone disturb your inner world. That version exists. It's not a fantasy. It's a mindset, a discipline, a state of control built through awareness and practice. We live in a world where everyone wants to trigger you. Opinions, comments, disrespect, comparison, competition. But your power is not in fighting back, it's in mastering yourself. The moment you understand that anger is a trap, you begin to escape it. Every second you choose peace over reaction, you become untouchable. When you see people yelling, arguing, trying to pull you into drama, smile internally, because they're showing you who they are, not who you have to become. The greatest flex in today's world is emotional discipline, the ability to remain calm when everyone else is losing control. And once you master that, no one can bother you. No insult, no attitude, no rejection. You'll be free, not because life is easy, but because you are unshakable. Let's break this truth down. Anger doesn't protect you, it exposes you. It reveals where you are weak, where your ego still rules, and where you have yet to grow. Every time you get offended, it's not a reflection of what someone did. It's a mirror showing you what you haven't healed. The person who insults you, they're testing your peace. The situation that frustrates you, it's testing your patience. Every emotional challenge is a training session for your mind. To never get angry, you must first understand the illusion of control. You can't control people, their behavior, their tone, or their actions, but you can control your interpretation of them. You decide what their words mean. You decide whether something deserves your energy or your silence. When you shift focus from controlling others to controlling yourself, life transforms. Suddenly, you're no longer a puppet to emotions, you're the master of them. There's a timeless principle: what you focus on, you feed. If you feed anger, it grows. If you feed calmness, it expands. So, when someone disrespects you, don't feed the fire, feed your peace. Step back. Breathe. Remember, your silence speaks louder than your reaction ever could. The wise understand that not every battle deserves a warrior. Some battles are meant to be walked away from. Because true strength is not about proving people wrong. It's about protecting your energy. Every reaction you give away is a piece of power lost. The more you hold, the more powerful you become. Picture your mind as a still lake. When someone throws a stone, their insult, attitude, or negativity, it creates ripples only if you let it. But if you remain still, the stone sinks and the surface stays calm. That's mastery. That's emotional freedom. To reach that level, you must practice detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to let chaos live rent free in your mind. When you feel triggered, ask yourself, does this matter in 5 years? 99% of the time, it won't. And when you truly understand that, most anger simply disappears. The mind loves stories. They disrespected me. They shouldn't talk like that. I have to prove I'm right. But peace begins when you stop narrating the story of the ego. Don't explain, don't argue, don't defend. Just be. You owe no emotional reaction to anyone. Because once you train yourself to respond with silence, observation, and calmness, you shift from reacting to mastering. You go from being disturbed by life to directing it. You become the calm in the storm, not the chaos within it. Anger is not a reaction. It's a reflection. It doesn't reveal who others are, it reveals you. It exposes the invisible cracks in your inner world. The places that are still fragile, the ego that still craves validation, the expectations that still hold power over you. When someone disrespects you, challenges you, or tries to belittle you, they are not creating your anger. They are awakening something that was already there. The trigger isn't the problem, it's the teacher, and if you listen closely, it's teaching you exactly where you still need to heal. Every person who pushes your buttons is a mirror, showing you a wound that has yet to be closed. Maybe you get angry because you still want to be seen. Maybe you get defensive because deep down you still need approval. Maybe you explode because you still haven't forgiven something from your past. The truth is, nobody has the power to control your emotions unless they touch something that's still bleeding inside you. That's why anger is such a powerful signal. It's not a punishment, it's an opportunity. It's your mind whispering, "Look here, this is where your peace is still missing." When you start seeing anger as a messenger rather than an enemy, your entire relationship with it changes. You stop trying to suppress it, and instead you start decoding it. You begin asking questions like, why did that bother me so much? What am I really defending? What fear is hiding beneath this reaction? Because behind every outburst lies something deeper. Fear of rejection, fear of disrespect, fear of losing control. But once you face those fears, anger loses its grip on you. You can't be manipulated by what you understand. Imagine someone insults you publicly. Your first instinct might be to strike back, to defend yourself, to prove your worth. But take a moment. Breathe. Ask yourself, what part of me is trying to be protected right now? If your self-worth depends on someone else's words, then you've handed them the keys to your peace. True freedom begins when you stop outsourcing your emotional stability to other people's behavior, their tone, their words, their attitude. None of that defines you unless you decide it does. And this is where emotional mastery begins. In awareness, when you can witness your anger rising without becoming it, you've already won. You become the observer, not the reactor. You recognize, I'm feeling angry, but I don't have to act on it. That single moment of separation, that tiny pause, is where peace is born. That's where power lives. Think about this: when someone can easily anger you, they control you. But when you understand your triggers, when you heal what causes them, you become untouchable. You no longer react, you reflect. You no longer argue, you understand. The same insult that once lit a fire in your chest now feels irrelevant, almost invisible. Because you've grown past the need to be right. You've evolved beyond the need to defend your ego. You've become centered. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It takes awareness, honesty, and practice. It takes facing uncomfortable truths about yourself, about your insecurities, your fears, and your pride. But every time you choose reflection over reaction, your inner peace strengthens. Every time you hold your calm instead of your temper, you prove to yourself that you are in control. Here's the truth that most people never understand: anger is not strength, it's dependency. It means your emotions still depend on the actions of others. But calmness, that's power. That's independence. That's saying, you can do what you want, say what you want, act how you want, but you cannot move me. That is the highest form of emotional intelligence. When you become so rooted within yourself that external storms no longer pull you away from your center. The most peaceful people you'll ever meet aren't the ones who live quiet lives. They're the ones who've mastered chaos. They've been tested, provoked, betrayed, and misunderstood. Yet they don't react. Not because they're weak, but because they understand the truth. Every reaction is energy given away. And the more you give away, the less you have to build your own peace. So they protect it. They walk through noise like still water, unshaken, unmoved, unbothered. When you look deeper into your own anger, you'll start seeing patterns. You'll notice it's not about the people. It's about the pain you've carried. The coworker who disrespects you might remind you of the authority you never had as a child. The partner who ignores you might trigger the same feeling of invisibility you once felt growing up. Every trigger is connected to a root. And once you find that root and heal it, no one can pull it again. So the next time you feel anger rising, don't rush to suppress it or explode with it. Sit with it, let it speak. Ask it, what are you trying to show me? Because anger is not there to destroy you. It's there to awaken you. It's your emotional alarm clock, ringing to remind you that there's still work to do inside. And the moment you start doing that inner work, the outer world stops controlling you. The people who once irritated you no longer affect you. The comments that once ruined your day now sound like distant echoes. You stop being bothered. Not because the world changed, but because you did. You learned that peace isn't something you find, it's something you build. It's built every time you refuse to let pain speak louder than wisdom. So remember this. Anger exposes where you're unhealed, but awareness transforms it into strength. And when you reach that point where you can see every trigger as a lesson and every insult as noise, that's when you become untouchable. That's when you stop being controlled by emotion and start controlling your reality. That's when you step into your true power, calm, aware, and completely unbothered. Silence is not weakness. It's the loudest language of power. In a world addicted to reaction, silence has become rare, misunderstood, and underestimated. But the truth is, silence is not the absence of strength. It's the presence of control. It's the ability to stay grounded when your emotions are begging to explode, the ability to hold your peace when your ego is screaming for revenge. When you master silence, you become dangerous in the most elegant way. Because no one can predict you, no one can manipulate you, and no one can pull you into chaos you didn't create. Think about the people who truly command respect. They're not the ones who shout the loudest. They're the ones who speak the least. But when they do, every word carries weight. Their silence intimidates not because it's empty, but because it's full of self-control, awareness, and unshakable calm. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you're making a statement. You don't control me. I control me. When someone disrespects you, when they throw insults, sarcasm, or criticism your way, the average person reacts instantly. They defend, they argue, they fight back. But the wise don't. The wise understand that reaction is currency, and not everyone deserves to spend yours. Because the moment you react emotionally, you hand over your power. You let them dictate your state of mind. But when you respond with silence, calm, still, and unbothered, you take back control. You disarm them without a word. Silence makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to face themselves. When you don't react, they're left wrestling with their own behavior, their own insecurity. Your stillness becomes a mirror, reflecting back their noise. And in that moment, your silence speaks louder than any comeback ever could. It says, I'm above this. It says, you can't reach me. It says, my peace is worth more than your attention. The power of silence lies in presence. It's not passive, it's purposeful. It's you deciding that your energy, your focus, and your dignity are too valuable to be wasted on meaningless arguments. Silence doesn't mean agreement. It means you've chosen clarity over chaos. It means you've evolved past the need to prove a point to someone who's already decided not to understand you, because you've realized that your peace is worth more than being right. Every time you choose silence, you're not avoiding confrontation. You're choosing mastery. You're training your mind to stay steady under pressure. You're telling yourself, I will not let others dictate my emotional temperature. That level of composure doesn't make you weak. It makes you railed. Because in today's world, emotional control is a superpower. You see, silence carries a frequency that words can't match. When you speak out of peace, your voice has impact. When you speak out of anger, your voice has noise. But when you wait, when you allow silence to clear the fog, what comes out of your mouth afterward has weight. You stop speaking to defend. You start speaking to deliver truth. You stop speaking for reaction. You start speaking for results. That's the art of maturity, knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Silence also builds respect. People notice when you don't react. They may not say it, but they feel it. They realize you're not easily provoked, not easily shaken. You carry yourself with quiet confidence. You don't chase validation through arguments. You don't need to prove your intelligence through shouting. Your composure becomes your statement, and that's something people never forget. Here's a truth few understand. Silence is not about ignoring others. It's about protecting yourself. It's the ability to walk away without needing the last word. It's knowing that you don't have to engage in every fight to win. Sometimes victory looks like peace of mind, not proving a point. Sometimes the strongest thing you can say is nothing. When you stay silent, you give space for energy to settle. You allow your mind to observe rather than react. You start to notice how many battles are simply noise. Temporary emotions, fleeting words, meaningless opinions. And the moment you stop chasing noise, you start building peace. You stop playing emotional tug-of-war with people who thrive on reaction. Because once you stop pulling, the game ends. But silence isn't always easy. It takes strength to stay quiet when you know you could destroy someone with your words. It takes restraint to stay calm when your pride is bruised. It takes wisdom to hold your tongue when your heart wants justice. But that's exactly where your growth happens. In that gap between impulse and response. That's where you evolve from reactive to reflective, from emotional to intentional. When you choose silence, you are not letting people walk over you. You are letting them walk past you. You are rising above the storm instead of drowning in it. You're teaching your subconscious that peace matters more than pride, and clarity matters more than conflict. You're rewriting your emotional code, one pause at a time. And over time, something magical happens. The same situations that used to trigger you lose their power. The same people who used to disturb you now seem irrelevant. You start feeling lighter, calmer, more centered. Because you've realized that silence doesn't just protect peace, it creates it. You're no longer at the mercy of every word, every attitude, every offense. You've learned that not everything deserves a reaction, and not everyone deserves a response. So, let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them make noise. Your silence will echo louder than their words ever could, because silence is not emptiness. It's composure. It's presence. It's mastery. It's the mark of someone who has stopped fighting for attention and started living for peace. And once you reach that level, you'll never waste another word proving your worth again. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Spend it like it's gold. Because once it's gone, no amount of money, success, or validation can buy it back. Every thought you entertain, every reaction you give, every argument you engage in, all of it costs energy. And most people are broke, not because they lack resources, but because they leak energy on things that don't matter. They give their power away through overthinking, overreacting, and over-explaining. But when you learn to protect your energy, everything changes. Your focus sharpens, your peace deepens, and your power expands. You stop living in reaction and start living in creation. Think about it. Every time you argue with someone who doesn't want to understand you, you lose energy. Every time you replay a conversation that's already over, you lose energy. Every time you try to prove your worth to people who can't see it, you lose energy. Energy is life. And yet, most people give it away carelessly. To negativity, to gossip, to insecurity, to anger. Protecting your energy isn't selfish. It's strategic. It's realizing that your peace is the foundation of your power, and without it, you cannot build anything lasting. Protecting your energy means understanding the difference between what deserves your response and what deserves your silence. Not every comment requires a comeback. Not every invitation to chaos requires attendance. Sometimes the greatest act of strength is not showing up to the battle that was designed to drain you. The person who can walk away instead of engaging. That person holds real control, because they understand that not every reaction is worth the cost of their peace. Every day, you're surrounded by people, situations, and distractions, all competing for your attention. Your attention is energy, and where your attention goes, your life flows. If your attention is on negativity, your energy will reflect it. If your attention is on growth, peace, and purpose, your life will mirror that too. Protecting your energy starts with awareness, knowing what drains you, what refuels you, and having the discipline to choose wisely. Because if you don't manage your energy, the world will. And trust me, the world will drain you without remorse. You must begin to treat your energy like an investment. Ask yourself, does this conversation bring me closer to peace or pull me away from it? Does this environment uplift me or drain me? Does this thought serve me or sabotage me? Protecting your energy is about boundaries, not walls. It's not about isolating yourself from the world, but about deciding which energies you allow into yours. When you surround yourself with people who radiate negativity, you absorb it. When you surround yourself with those who inspire you, challenge you, and bring calmness into your space, your energy multiplies. Protecting your energy also means mastering your inner dialogue. Because sometimes the biggest energy thief is not the world. It's your own mind. It's the endless replay of past mistakes, the constant comparison to others, the stories you tell yourself about why you're not enough. Your mind can either be a sanctuary or a battlefield. When you feed it doubt, you drain your strength. When you feed it gratitude, purpose, and focus, you become unstoppable. There's a reason the most powerful people in the world value silence, solitude, and stillness. It's because they understand that clarity comes when noise fades. The calmer your inner world becomes, the more power you have to direct your outer world. When you learn to preserve your energy, you no longer chase validation. You no longer engage in meaningless debates. You stop giving access to people who don't deserve your attention. You simply walk in your lane, focused, composed, and untouchable. Every time you protect your energy, you're saying no to chaos and yes to growth. You're telling yourself that your mental and emotional space are sacred, and only things aligned with peace are welcome there. Protecting your energy is not about arrogance, it's about awareness. It's understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot lead, create, or love fully if your spirit is constantly exhausted. You must learn to retreat, to recharge, to rebuild, because stillness is not laziness, it's strategy. It's the pause before power. And here's the truth. The world will constantly test your boundaries. It will send people who drain your focus, situations that provoke your emotions, and distractions that feed your doubt. Every time you'll be faced with a choice: react or protect, drain or conserve, fall or rise. And the more you choose to protect, the stronger you become. Because discipline in energy is discipline in life. You cannot control every event, but you can always control what you give energy to. Protecting your energy means recognizing your triggers, those small things that steal your peace before you even notice. It's becoming so aware of yourself that you can feel when your energy begins to shift. That moment of awareness is your opportunity to pause and realign, because your peace should not be negotiable. Your focus should not be given away easily. Your energy should be guarded like a fortress. There's beauty in restraint. There's wisdom in walking away. There's power in not responding. Protecting your energy doesn't make you cold. It makes you composed. It means you've grown enough to realize that not every situation deserves your participation. You've evolved enough to understand that peace is not found, it's maintained. So when the world tries to pull you into drama, choose distance. When people try to provoke you, choose calm. When your mind starts to spiral, choose stillness. Protecting your energy isn't about avoiding life. It's about mastering it. Because the one who controls their energy controls their destiny. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. You don't owe anyone your reaction. The most powerful move you can make is to stay calm, stay grounded, and guard your energy like your future depends on it, because it does. Detachment is not about not caring. It's about caring wisely. It's the art of being fully present without becoming emotionally enslaved by the outcome. It's the ability to love, work, and give with your whole heart, yet still remain free. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting your feelings control your peace. It's a skill, one that few ever master, but those who do move through life with a calm that feels almost untouchable. In a world that constantly demands reaction, detachment is power. It's choosing not to be consumed by things beyond your control, because most suffering comes from resistance, from trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. People, outcomes, opinions, timing, none of these belong to you, but your response to them does. Detachment is that quiet inner strength that whispers, "I can face this, but I don't have to lose myself in it." It's emotional freedom, the kind that allows you to remain calm when everything around you demands panic. Imagine living in such a state of balance that no rejection can shake your confidence, no criticism can pierce your peace, and no setback can make you forget your direction. That's what detachment gives you. It's not indifference. It's intelligence. It's understanding that peace is too expensive to be traded for momentary emotion. When you're detached, you still experience emotion, but you don't drown in it. You feel, you process, and then you release, because you've learned that holding on to everything only weighs you down. The truth is, most people suffer not because of what happens to them, but because of how tightly they hold on to what happened. They replay conversations, cling to outcomes, and obsess over what could have been different. Detachment breaks that cycle. It's the mindset that says, "I gave my best, and now I let it be." That's strength. The kind that doesn't depend on control, but on surrender. And surrender is not giving up. It's giving in to flow. It's trusting that what's meant for you will align, and what's not will fade, no matter how much you resist it. Detachment gives you space. Space to think, to see clearly, to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. It allows you to breathe between stimulus and response. You stop reacting instantly and start observing instead. When someone tries to provoke you, you see through their emotion rather than joining it. You realize that you don't have to attend every emotional invitation sent your way. Not every insult needs a defense. Not every argument needs a voice. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to stay still and let life reveal its lesson on its own. The mind loves attachment. It clings to identities, people, and stories because it fears loss. But when you practice detachment, you start to see that loss is not always destruction. Sometimes it's direction. The things that leave your life often make room for better ones. The people who walk away often clear the space for those meant to stay. Detachment allows you to see endings not as punishments, but as transitions. You start to understand that peace doesn't mean holding on. It means letting go gracefully. Think of detachment like standing in the middle of a storm. The winds may howl, the rain may fall, but you are centered, grounded in the eye of it all. You watch everything move around you, yet inside, you are still. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop forcing and start allowing. That's when life begins to flow effortlessly, because when you stop fighting for control, you make space for alignment. Detachment also means you stop taking things personally. You understand that people's actions are reflections of their own inner worlds, not judgments of your worth. When someone mistreats you, you see it as a projection of their pain, not a reflection of your value. That shift alone can free you from years of emotional turmoil, because the moment you stop absorbing others' energy, you start protecting your own. There's a special kind of peace that comes when you no longer need validation from anyone. When you can walk away not because you don't care, but because you do, about yourself, your peace, your growth. Detachment teaches you boundaries. It teaches you how to love deeply but not lose yourself, how to be kind but not be used, how to stay soft yet still be strong. It's emotional maturity in its highest form. To feel everything deeply but remain steady no matter the outcome. When you're detached, you're free to give without expectation. You can help others without needing recognition, love without demanding loyalty, and work without obsessing over results. You stop chasing control, and in doing so, you gain it. Because control is not in holding tighter, it's in releasing with trust. You start to see that peace isn't the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. Every moment of your life is a chance to practice detachment. When something doesn't go your way, breathe and release. When someone disappoints you, bless them and move on. When plans fall apart, trust that better ones are forming in silence. Detachment is the art of keeping your peace. While the world moves unpredictably around you, it's a quiet confidence that says, I can face uncertainty without fear, because I am rooted in calm. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to fix every misunderstanding. You don't need to force every dream. When you're detached, you understand that life doesn't need your control. It needs your cooperation. You begin to flow with it instead of against it. And in that flow, everything begins to make sense. The doors that closed start to look like protection, not punishment. The rejections start to feel like redirection, and every loss starts to look like preparation. Detachment is not a lack of emotion. It's emotional intelligence in motion. It's learning how to care without clinging, to give without losing yourself, to love without fear. And once you reach that state, nothing and no one can disturb your peace again. Because you've realized that your happiness was never out there. It was always within you, waiting for you to stop clinging and start trusting. Detachment is freedom, and freedom is the highest form of strength. Calm is not weakness. It is the ultimate display of power. In a world that glorifies urgency, noise, and reaction, calmness has become the rarest and most commanding energy a person can carry. It is the quiet confidence of someone who knows who they are and refuses to let the chaos of others decide their emotional state. When you stay calm under pressure, you don't just survive storms. You direct them. You make decisions with clarity while everyone else is drowning in confusion. Calm is the signal of mastery. It's the voice of strength that doesn't need to shout. When everything around you starts to crumble, when emotions flare and people panic, calmness becomes your weapon. The calm mind doesn't crumble under stress, it expands. It sees solutions others can't see because it's not clouded by fear or impulse. Calmness is not the absence of emotion. It's the control of it. It's the stillness that allows wisdom to speak when chaos tries to take over. The person who can remain calm when provoked, insulted, or tested holds a power that can't be measured. Because calmness is not about what happens around you. It's about what happens within you. Think about this: anger can be faked, confidence can be acted out, but calmness can't be pretended. You either have it or you don't. It's the result of deep self-awareness, of knowing that your peace is not up for negotiation. When you are calm, you are unreadable, you are unpredictable. People can't manipulate you because they can't figure out what moves you. And that mystery, that emotional stillness, makes you powerful beyond words. Calmness is what separates leaders from followers, masters from amateurs, and peacekeepers from victims of chaos. It's what allows you to walk through pressure with grace and respond to disrespect with composure. It's easy to stay centered when life is kind. Anyone can do that. But true calm is tested when everything feels like it's falling apart. It's tested when people provoke you, when plans collapse, when life challenges your patience and pride. That's when your calmness becomes a mirror, revealing how much you've grown, how deeply you trust yourself, and how connected you are to your inner strength. The calm person isn't blind to the chaos. They're just not owned by it. They see it, they feel it, but they don't feed it. They know that emotions are visitors, not rulers. When anger knocks, they let it pass through. When fear rises, they breathe through it. Calmness allows them to remain the eye of the storm, untouched by the wind, unshaken by the noise. And that stillness doesn't mean indifference. It means control. It means you've reached a point in your evolution where your peace matters more than your pride. Every situation in life offers two choices: react emotionally or respond consciously. Calmness gives you that pause, the sacred second where you get to choose your power instead of your impulse. It's in that moment of silence, that deep breath before response, that true intelligence lives. Because the calm mind doesn't just see what's happening, it understands why it's happening. It sees patterns, it recognizes triggers, and it chooses peace not because it's easy, but because it's powerful. There's a quiet magic in calm people. They move through life with a rhythm that commands respect without needing to demand it. Their words are measured, their energy is balanced, and their presence alone brings stability to chaos. People are drawn to them not because they're loud, but because they radiate something everyone secretly craves: peace. Calmness is contagious. It influences environments, softens tension, and inspires reflection. When you walk into a room calm, you change the entire frequency without saying a word. But make no mistake, calmness is not natural to most. It's built. It's trained. It's forged in moments when you could have exploded but didn't. When you could have argued but chose silence. When you could have panicked but decided to breathe. Every time you resist the pull of chaos, you strengthen your inner stillness. And over time, that calm becomes your nature. It becomes your baseline, your identity. You stop chasing control because you realize you are control. The calm mind is not emotionless. It feels everything but chooses what to give energy to. It observes without absorbing. It listens without judgment. It processes before reacting. Calmness teaches you that peace isn't found in the absence of conflict. It's found in the presence of control. You become the person who doesn't flinch when challenged, doesn't fold when pressured, and doesn't lose composure when provoked. You become a force, steady, confident, grounded. Calmness also sharpens your intuition. When your mind is still, you begin to hear the voice of clarity that is drowned out by overthinking and emotion. You start to sense direction instead of forcing it. Decisions that once felt impossible become clear because you're no longer rushing. You're aligned. Calm people don't act out of desperation, They move with purpose. They don't chase outcomes. They attract them through composure and consistency. And when you live from that place of calm strength, you start to notice how the world reacts differently to you. The same people who once tried to provoke you now respect your peace. The same challenges that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Because calmness doesn't change the situation. It changes you. It gives you the power to navigate life with precision instead of panic. You become someone who doesn't get pulled into noise because you've learned that energy flows where attention goes. And you choose to give yours only to what matters. Calmness is not something you practice occasionally. It's a lifestyle. It's the discipline of staying still when you could react. It's the daily decision to not let external chaos dictate internal balance. It's the mindset that says, I will not lose myself trying to control what's outside of me. The calm mind sees the storm, smiles, and says, do your worst. I've mastered the weather within. That's the kind of power that can't be taken away. Because once you build calmness within, no one can disturb it. The world will still be loud, people will still be difficult, and challenges will still come. But you will move through them untouched. Calmness becomes your shield, your strength, your silent revolution. It's how you rise above noise without ever needing to fight it. It's how you win, not through force, but through peace. Peace is not found in isolation, it's built in confrontation. By mastering the art of not reacting. Every person who tries to provoke you is a teacher in disguise. They're showing you where your peace still needs work. So thank them. Let their noise fade into the background, while you rise above it, silently, powerfully. The day you stop letting people trigger you is the day you truly begin to live. Because peace is not a gift. It's a skill, a practice, a decision made every single day. So when life tests you, smile. You're not here to argue. You're here to master yourself. And when you master yourself, no one can control you, no one can drain you, and no one can disturb your inner world again. You will walk through chaos calm as the ocean, still as the mountain, and powerful as silence itself. This is how you become unbothered. This is how you never get angry again. This is wisdom in Minutes Audiobook.